Hey guys, Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washing and Painting. In this video, we're going to talk about how you should clean stamped concrete. As you see here, we're doing some surface cleaning on stamped concrete. And I'll say up front, I'm not a big fan of surface cleaning stamped concrete. But in this situation, yeah, I think we're going to be just fine doing it. We're going to go through a couple things, how you should do it and how you shouldn't do it. A couple things you don't want to do because you could disturb the color in it. We're going to talk about that a little bit and a little bit more of what stamped concrete is and how to identify it. So right here, I would have elected to wand wash this, but I do see the stamped concrete has a very aggressive stamp in it. As you can see here, this pattern, I'm not sure, it looks something like an Italian slate pattern. It does have the color in it as well. Oftentimes that color is mixed in the concrete. It appears in this case that they did have some color mixed in the concrete when they poured it many years ago, but also they had something on top of the concrete called a color release powder, and then they seal it on top of that. Now again, that was many years ago, probably 15 or 20 years ago, the age of this. Reason why I can tell is you see over here on the left side of the screen, you can tell where this has been eroded over the years. The color has been taken out of it due to rainfall off of the gutters, that sort of thing. And it does take many years for this to occur. This is one way that you can identify the age of the stamped concrete. Obviously it's not new. If so, we wouldn't want to surface clean it. And what I mean by new, within the first 3 to 5 years of its life. So this stamped concrete, if I had to guess 15, 20 years ago, somewhere along those lines. Now we are in the South. We actually in Mobile, Alabama, so there is a lot of rainfall here. So that could have been compressed down maybe even to 10 years, but at least we know for sure it's not 3 to 5 years old. Reason why you wouldn't want to do it during that surface cleaning during that young life of the stamped concrete, because you can and will remove the sealer from the stamped concrete, and then the property owner or the homeowner would have to go in and reseal it, or you could upsell them on that sort of thing. Way you can identify stamped concrete is looking at the edges of it. And obviously it's nighttime and dark out here, but you can see this is a slab here. It's not the actual stones placed individually. So look at those edges. That is a telltale sign that it is stamped concrete. Like I said, stamped concrete is a little bit peculiar to clean. It is quite common in a lot of parts of the United States. Even out on the West Coast, it's very popular. And the way it's done is when they pour the concrete, like we were talking about a minute ago, it's obviously wet, and they put the color in the concrete, and then they go back with some mats and stamp it. And basically they lay the mats on the concrete while it's still relatively pliable. Within probably 40 to 60 minutes of it being poured, they obviously float it out and that sort of thing and get it all nice and level. And then right before it's drying, they lay these mats on it, and then they take a stamper or a compactor tool and kind of pound in the mat. And also they step on it and stomp on it, whatever they got to do. And they move those mats all the way down until they achieve the pattern they're looking for, making that impression into the concrete. And then shortly after that, they hand toss a release powder on it, which helps color the concrete as well. Now that release powder does get embedded into the stamped concrete somewhat, but not all the way, and that's why you see some of the erosion going on along this water drip edge. Now if this was new and we took a surface cleaner to it, again, we could remove the sealer that is sprayed on the stamped concrete shortly after they finish with it, and then also erode some of that powder release, that color powder release stuff that they put on it. And you would have telltale signs of the color of the water turning colors on you. Basically, whatever color that stamped concrete is, the water would kind of contain some of that that color as it runs off. But again, in this case, we're fine to surface clean it. Now, what we're doing here is we have our surface cleaner dialed back. We are running probably on about 30% power on our machines, which on our particular machine, 30% power is going to probably produce about 4 gallons per minute. And the tips I have in it is only going to apply approximately 500 to 600 psi per tip. So we do get the benefit of surface cleaning it and kind of cleaning these grooves out. Again, it's very aggressive stamped, so you have a lot of dirt and debris trapped in it, a little mold and mildew into some of those patterns. So surface cleaning it does do a good job on it. Now, what I wouldn't want to do is put a sodium hypochlorite solution on this no more than about a 1%. On this situation, I'm just using a surfactant detergent to help loosen up some of that dirt as we surface clean it, and it's no sodium hypochlorite. A couple of reasons why I don't want to use sodium hypochlorite, because it could even release more of the color that is sort of coming out of it already. So you want to be really careful with that as well. Be very careful with your sodium hypochlorite. Now, we are going to be cleaning this wall area, and I intentionally wanted to surface clean this first. For one thing, I get it nice and wet, and then when I do my sodium hypochlorite treatment on the stucco behind us, this will be diluted because we've already got it nice and wet and soapy, that sort of thing. And then after I do this wall area, then I'll come in here with an open ball valve and rinse everything down, including the stamped concrete. Another thing, when you surface clean the stamped concrete, you don't want to stop and let your surface cleaner rotate in one spot. So that is very imperative that you don't do that on any concrete for that matter. Let's go look at some concrete down here where this stamped concrete sort of kind of joins up to this other concrete. Also, guys, while we walk over here, I want to mention, if you want to learn how to grow your pressure washing business, if you're needing some extra work and you're needing to get into some niche markets where you can start making more money in your pressure washing business, go check out BillyDavidsonVIP.com. I have some very exclusive training courses on there that people have been joining and going through the training videos and having incredible success with it. Some of the success stories I hear is quite humbling. Some of these guys are really taking this knowledge that we teach. Like I said before in some of my videos, I'm going on my 28th year in the pressure washing business, and through all types of economies, bad economies, good economies, economies that crash. Again, down here in the South, we have terrible hurricanes at times, floods, and we manage to keep our crew busy more than what we want, really, by using some of those same tactics we teach in some of our online courses. So go check that out, and you could definitely make a difference in your pressure washing business if you're needing some extra work. Like we teach the dumpster pad cleaning, we teach how to do your yard signs, that sort of thing. So look at this. This is a new slab that was put down a few years ago. You can tell just because it's not so beat up and degraded. You can kind of tell it's probably 2 or 3 years old, but it does join up to this stamped concrete. So what we want to do, the same power that we're using on this stamped concrete, we can continue that same power setting onto this fairly new concrete without damaging it. Now, what we wouldn't want to do is come in here and power up our surface cleaner and put thousands of pounds of PSI on this concrete. Sometimes you can leave ring marks in it. Sometimes it can scuff it up if you're using too much power. And again, if you're going to clean it frequently, like we're cleaning this facility several times a year, surface cleaning this several times a year at the wrong power setting over a 2 or 3 year period, it will show that you are using too much power. All the aggregate will become exposed and that fine finish will be washed away. So think about that, guys. Whenever you're doing fairly decent looking concrete, you may have to lower that power setting just so you doesn't scar it up and scuff it up. Again, on this new fine concrete, we can use a pretty strong sodium hypochlorite solution if needed, In this case, we're not going to need it because it doesn't have a lot of mold and mildew in organic growth, but we will use a mild sodium hypochlorite, right around 2%, with some surfactants, get it kind of cleaned up in detergents, and then rinse it off. Again, we'll be doing a wall area and a ceiling area as well. So guys, I wanted to bring that to your attention. I have gotten so many questions on how you clean stamped concrete, and my first answer is very carefully. Don't come in here and just blowing thousands of PSI on this. It's not going to come out good, and you're not going to do your customer right by doing that. It's going to look bad on your business. So anytime you're doing stamped concrete, sometimes you have to charge a little more, just because it's going to take you a little more time. You got to be a little more gentle with it, and you don't want to run a risk of hurting anything no worse than it is. Again, this stamped concrete does need to be resealed. It probably needs some more color put into it, that sort of thing. But for the meantime, we're going to get it cleaned up and not do any more damage to it. But guys, again, I hope this video has been helpful. And if it has been helpful, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to us. Give us a like on your way out. And don't forget to go check out BillyDavidsonVIP.com. Check the description for more information in this video. Just click on that. It'll lead you to the webpage. And again, I'm Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washer Painting. And I surely hope to see you in the next video.